Known for its gorgeous scenery and massive mountains, Switzerland is a beautiful country in Europe and a place that should definitely be on your travel list. But it is also one of the most expensive countries to visit in Europe, and that could deter people if they don't know how to look for deals or even which cities to visit. BudgetYourTrip.com tells you that you need $213 a day in Switzerland. But what if I told you could do it for as cheap as $75, including all of your trains, accommodation, cable cars, and food? Now, I spent almost a month in Switzerland on a backpacker budget, and it was hands down the best part of my entire backpacking trip. The sights I saw there, I've never seen anything like that anywhere else. So here's your 2-week guide for exploring Switzerland for just about $1,200. We are starting in Geneva. Geneva is a city of about 200,000 people that sits at the southwest end of Lake Geneva. This was where I landed in Switzerland and where my beautiful journey began. I'm in Switzerland. Note that when you get to the airport, you can take a train into the city for about 2 to 3 euros as opposed to a very expensive taxi. I stayed at the Geneva hostel. It cost me $128 for the 3 nights I was there, and I actually really loved this hostel. The lockers were big, the beds were comfy, and there wasn't too many people squeezed into the room together. It is the cheapest bed I've found in Geneva, but it was still rated an 8.2 on Booking. Now, on your very first day in Geneva, you are going to spend your day walking around the city because there is so much to see. Definitely head down to the scenic waterfront and walk along the lake. It was really cool getting to see the Geneva water fountain. It shoots up 460 feet at 124 miles per hour. You can see it from Jardin-Anglais, which has another beautiful fountain, sculptures, and lots of people hanging around. It's also home to La Loge Fleurie, a historic clock made in 1955 surrounded by flowers that change per the season. For lunch, I recommend Les Bouelles for some fondue because if it's your first time in Switzerland, cheese fondue is a must. But for me, only once because it was $27 a person. All of the rest of the meals I had in Switzerland were bought from grocery stores. This will save you a lot of money during your stay here. It's the difference in hundreds. After lunch, head over to the Botanical Garden Greenhouse. Entry is free and there's so much to look at. This place is gorgeous. The park next door also had a fun feet sensory activity to check out. After taking all the pictures you want of all the beautiful buildings, it's time to head back to the hostel. For our second day in Geneva, we are going to view it from a different angle, by checking out the nearest and most accessible mountain by public transportation, Mont Salève. This mountain sits at 4,524 feet in the French Préalpes. It's actually in France, but it is the easiest mountain to get to from Geneva by bus. If you stay at the hostel I recommended, they give you a free bus pass and pamphlet showing you exactly what bus to take to get there. I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty difficult hike.
Totally understand the cable car.
It's about a 1,900 foot climb and took me about 3 hours total. But if you're not up for the challenge, there is still a cable car you can take to the top and back down for 11 euros. The view of Geneva is definitely worth it. Day 3 is a travel day. We are taking the train from Geneva to Bern. Now this is important. If you do not have any type of Eurail or Interrail pass, you're going to want to book these tickets in advance as they can be very expensive. Book them on the trainline.com for as little as $18, but I have seen them as high as $80, so don't wait. I was kind of out of luck when I got to Bern as all of the hostels were booked and I didn't book far enough in advance, so I stayed at the cheapest hotel I could find, Hotel Pergola. It was $102 a night, but it was really great to have my own private room and bathroom after having been backpacking for the past 2 months. But if you reserve ahead of time, you can get 1 night at the Bern hostel for about $45. It's highly rated. This is such a unique and historic city. One of the best things you can do is explore and see what you find. All of it is beautiful. There are so many shops to check out and really cool looking clocks to see. You don't even need to spend money to have a great day. If it's a nice summer day, I suggest floating down the Ari River. It's free if you just want to jump in and float down. It should take you about 20 minutes or maybe find someone with a raft or two. Now day 4 is where it starts to get really exciting. We're heading into the mountains and traveling to Interlaken. Interlaken is a beautiful town in between 2 lakes. The train ticket is just about $30 US. From the train station, I took the bus to the tent hostel, and I can't express how much I love this place. I paid $138 for my 4 nights here, and it was definitely the cheapest place to stay in Interlaken. Waking up every morning and walking outside of my tent to see these beautiful mountains was like nothing else. I suggest hanging out around the hostel for your first night. I made so many friends instantly and had drinks at their bar while chilling in the pool and hot tub and watched millions of stars at night from my hammock. Their other hostel Bombers is also available for your use, and they have lots of parties and theme nights, so make sure you check them out too. Alright, so since we're in the mountains, day 5, we need to do some hiking. You have to check out Sinigplatt. It is one of the most incredible hikes I've ever done. I suggest getting up early, taking the cable car up for 32 francs, yes it's a lot, and then hiking down to avoid paying for the return ticket. My friends and I didn't start late enough and wound up hitchhiking down with some lovely people, but you could spend hours up there. On day 6, you should check out the harder Klume hike. You can hike it round trip for a total of 5.2 miles, or you can take the funicular up for 5 francs each way. For that last day in Interlaken, I suggest checking out the places that you could walk to. I checked out the sites near the lake and walked on a lot of the back roads, just exploring the town. It was so beautiful and quiet and safe. And if you're into water activities, there's plenty to do here, but keep in mind, most activities on the lake are above $100. Taking in the beautiful scenery was more than enough for me. I could walk all day here. I suggest this free day because those cable cars do not get any cheaper. Day 8, we get back on the train and head to Lauterbrunnen. This is only about a 20-minute train ride and costs less than $10. I stayed at the Lauterbrunnen Backpackers Hostel for $61 for 2 nights. It wasn't a very far walk from the train station, about 15 minutes, but there are buses running that way as well. Lauterbrunnen is a must-see in Switzerland. I am sure you've seen pictures of these waterfalls shared before. Once you get settled into your hostel, head back to the main street that the train station was on and start walking. There are so many cute restaurants, coffee shops, stores, and picture opportunities to see. And definitely take a walk up and behind the Staubosch waterfall. Day 9, we are getting back into another cable car and taking it up to Grutschgau. I walked up here from Lauterbrunnen to Mürren, and it was beautiful and amazing and a very easy hike. Every moment was picturesque. It cost me $20 for the cable car. Day 10, we are heading to Grindelwald. The train to Grindelwald is $10 and is a little over an hour long. I paid $69 for 2 nights at the Eiger Lodge Easy Hostel, which was right outside of the Grindelwald Grunge train station. For your first day in Grindelwald, I suggest checking out some of the hikes nearby and the town itself before we pay for another cable car tomorrow. I checked out the Eiger Ultra Trail, which led me to seeing a super cool cave and a canyon. There are a bunch of activities in the canyon like bungee jumping if you're into that sort of thing, but if not, you will have just as much fun walking around. Day 11, we are heading up to First Mountain, one of the most popular hikes in the region. The round-trip cable car is $53, but many hotels and hostels in the area offer tourist discount cards. I was offered one at every place I stayed in. It can cut the fare by almost half sometimes, but don't miss out on these views. We are off to Zermatt, Switzerland, home of the mighty Matterhorn. These train prices vary greatly, but plan correctly and you can get one for as cheap as $61. I stayed at Hotel Bahnhof for 3 nights for $137. I loved the rooms in this hostel. It was also right across the street from the train station. The first thing I did after dropping off my bags was go look at the Matterhorn in person. It was a dream for me. Zermatt is a beautiful little carless mountain town in the south of Switzerland with so many cute shops, restaurants, and museums. If you arrive before 5, check out Gorner's Gorge. It's only 5 francs to get in and only about a 20-minute walk from the hostel. It'll take you about a half hour to see the whole thing. For day 13, we are going to get a better look at that Matterhorn. There are so many hikes you can do in the area, but the one that stood out to me the most was the 5 Lakes hike. Because not only do you get to view the Matterhorn, you can also view 5 lakes. Make sure you get up early for this one because you will want to spend all day exploring this area. It was 40 francs for the round trip ticket, but you're very close to the funicular, so you don't have to pay for any transportation to get here. After, make sure you get plenty of rest for your next day because on day 14, we do the hardest hike yet. But trust me, it is worth it. Once named the longest pedestrian suspension bridge in the world, the Charles Koenen Suspension Bridge is deep in the mountains of Ronda. It costs $17 on the train round trip from Zermatt, but luckily this time you won't be paying for a cable car because there isn't one. You can only access it by hiking the 3,290-foot climb. It is not for people who are out of shape. I did watch someone in a group turn around because she couldn't handle it.
To put it more into perspective, we weren't even 30 minutes up here and she quit.
It is straight up the entire time. But if you are here for the sights, I can tell you that it was 100% worth it. I thought the longest pedestrian suspension bridge in the world would be a lot more crowded than it was, but at one point I was the only one on it. Alright, and after a good night's sleep, you will take another $61 train back to Geneva and catch your flight home. So there you have it, 2 weeks in Switzerland for just about $1,200. Cooking your own meals is a huge part of this. If you've been saving for your trip for a long time and just wanted to watch this guide as suggestions of what to see, then please by all means go and eat everything at every restaurant. I'm sure it's delicious. But if you have a small budget and just want to see this incredible country, you can easily do it on $20 a day for food. My morning coffees at the grocery store were $2, a bag of rice is $3, pasta and a can of sauce is like $7, vegetables are a few dollars, and some of those things can last more than a day. If you want to do it, it is very possible. If you have any questions that I didn't answer in this guide, please leave me a comment down below and I will do my best to answer it and help you plan your trip. Please smash that subscribe button for more cheap budget travel guides and I will catch you on the next one.